King Philip's War, 1675 to 1676, was one of the most devastating conflicts in early American history. Often overshadowed by later wars such as the American Revolution or the Civil War, this brutal and bloody conflict shaped the future of colonial New England and altered the balance of power between Native American tribes and English settlers. The war, named after the Wampanoag leader Metacomet, known to the English as King Philip, was a desperate struggle for survival and sovereignty by the indigenous peoples of the region. This war not only resulted in enormous casualties but also led to significant cultural and political shifts in colonial America. In this video we will take an in-depth look at the causes, major battles, consequences, and lasting impact of King Philip's War. Background and causes of the war. To understand the war, we must first examine the tensions that had been building between Native American tribes and English settlers for decades. The arrival of the Pilgrims in 1620 and the subsequent establishment of Plymouth Colony marked the beginning of an uneasy relationship between the two groups. Initially, the Wampanoag tribe, under the leadership of Massasoit, sought an alliance with the English to counter rival tribes such as the Narragansett and Pequot. However, as English settlements expanded, land became an increasing point of contention. The colonists' insatiable hunger for land led to the steady encroachment upon Native American territories. By the 1670s, these pressures had reached a boiling point. Metacomet, Massasoit's son, recognized that his people were being displaced and their way of life was under siege. Tensions escalated when the English authorities executed 3 Wampanoags for the alleged murder of John Sassamon, a Native American Christian convert who had warned the colonists of Metacomet's plans for war. This event served as the catalyst for full-scale conflict. The outbreak of war and early battles. In June 1675, hostilities erupted when Wampanoag warriors attacked the town of Swansea, killing several settlers. The war quickly spread across Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut, with the Nipmuc, Pocumtuck, and Narragansett tribes joining the fight against the English. One of the first major battles occurred at Brookfield, Massachusetts, where the Nipmuc warriors ambushed and besieged English forces, nearly wiping out the settlement. Soon after, Native American forces launched devastating raids on towns such as Deerfield, Hadley, and Springfield, burning homes and slaughtering settlers. By the winter of 1675, the English responded with brutal force. In December, colonial militias, alongside Mohegan allies, launched an assault on the fortified Narragansett stronghold in what became known as the Great Swamp Fight. Despite suffering heavy losses, the colonists managed to destroy the Narragansett village, killing hundreds of men, women, and children. This massacre only deepened Native American resistance and prolonged the war. Turning points and the collapse of Native resistance. As the war progressed into 1676, both sides suffered tremendous casualties, but the tide began to turn against the Native American forces. The colonists, better armed and numerically superior, adapted their military strategies. They launched relentless search and destroy missions, targeting native villages and food supplies, starving many into submission. One of the most decisive moments in the war occurred when Metacomet's chief ally, Cononshit, the leader of the Narragansetts, was captured and executed. This weakened the Native American coalition and diminished morale among their ranks. By the summer of 1676, Metacomet and his remaining forces were retreating, suffering from disease, starvation, and constant attacks. On August 12, Metacomet was tracked down and killed by a Native American allied with the English, effectively ending the war. Aftermath and consequences. The war had catastrophic consequences for both sides. In total, an estimated 5,000 people, Native Americans and English settlers alike, lost their lives. Entire Native American villages were destroyed, and survivors were either executed, sold into slavery, or forced into servitude. The English colonies suffered significant economic damage, with dozens of towns laid to waste and resources depleted. The war also marked a turning point in colonial history. Native American resistance in southern New England was effectively crushed, paving the way for further English expansion. The alliances and power structures that had once balanced Native American and English relations were irrevocably altered. For Native Americans, King Philip's War represented one of the final major attempts to resist European colonization in New England. With their defeat, the English established greater control over the region, setting the stage for continued displacement and marginalization of indigenous peoples. Legacy and historical significance. Though often overlooked in American history, King Philip's War remains one of the most significant conflicts of the colonial era. It was the deadliest war in proportion to population size ever fought on American soil. It reshaped the cultural and political landscape of New England and demonstrated the devastating consequences of European expansion on indigenous societies. Today, historians continue to study the war for its insights into colonial native relations, warfare strategies, and its lasting impact on American history. By remembering King Philip's War, we acknowledge the sacrifices and struggles of the Native American communities who fought to preserve their way of life. King Philip's War was a defining moment in early American history, a brutal conflict that changed the trajectory of colonial New England. It serves as a reminder of the complexities of colonization, the resilience of indigenous peoples, and the violent clashes that shaped the foundations of the United States. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe for more historical deep dives. Let us know in the comments what historical topics you'd like us to cover next.